What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in today's video we're going to be covering a beginner topic, and that's doors in Revit. Revit allows you to place doors in your projects fairly easily, and with the basic version of Revit you do get a family library with some useful doors. But the problem is, well, it has some doors, but you may find yourself in a situation where you have a special door that you want to model and include in your project. Well, in this video we're going to be doing exactly that. I'm going to be showing you how to create pretty much any type of door for Revit that you might want. We're going to be exploring the family editor when it comes to creating doors, so I think it's going to be a very fun topic. Now, if you want to learn more about families in Revit and the whole family editor, which is the design environment within Revit that covers or that allows you to create your own custom families, well, I have an entire course on that. It's called the Revit Family Editor course, and it's available on my website, balkanarchitect.com. That's going to be the first link just below the video. So make sure to check it out if you want to learn everything there is to know about creating families in Revit. Well, that's the course to follow. And also make sure to subscribe to this channel because I make useful Revit tutorials each week. I make 3 tutorials, so you don't want to miss any of those. And finally, please like this video. It does help me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps promote the video to other people that might want to see it. Okay, without any further ado, let's get straight into Revit. And here we are in Revit. So this being a family, we're going to start it off as a family. So let's go here to families, then you want to go to new, and then this is the crucial part, obviously picking out a correct template. So what you want to do is just find the metric door family. So as you can see, we have a couple of versions. We have a curtain wall one. This isn't going to be that, so this isn't going to fit in curtain walls, just a regular door family. So let's go with that. Obviously, if you're using the Imperial units, just do the same thing, but in the Imperial library. Anyways, I'm just going to hit open, and that's going to start Revit up. Now, with your family template with Revit, you're going to get this frame around the door. Now if I go to the 3D view, yeah, this is what that looks like. So it does have this small frame here. Now actually I don't really like this. I actually quite dislike this frame because it doesn't look anything like the real frame on a door. You can see that it only comes up to the kind of the opening in the wall, and that's usually, well, that's not how it works. Usually the frame covers the entire wall, even in the kind of the side of the opening. So because this isn't really accurate, I just like to select both of these and then hit delete just to get rid of those. So for our door, we're going to be building a real frame, and to do so we're going to be bringing in some new parameters, or some existing parameters, but we're just going to be including them in the family. So if that doesn't make sense, what I'm talking about is if I go here to the family types and open that up, this shows all of the parameters that you have by default in your family. Just with this template, this is what you get. Now under dimensions, we have the height and the width. Here you can see, for example, the width, and we'll see the height in a minute now. But you do have those parameters, but you also have the rough width and the rough height parameters, which are kind of left blank. Now, obviously, the rough height and width are referring to the opening in the wall. So this is currently set up in such a way where the height and width are showing the rough height and width, and then if you add any sort of frame, it's going to come towards the inside and it's going to mess everything up. So we have to find a solution for this issue. So these are going to be the units for rough, width, and height. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so what you don't want to do now in order to fix this issue is just OK out of this menu, and then let's go to the project browser and find the exterior elevation view. There we go. So here, as you can see, you have the height of the door, we have the width, and everything is controlled by these reference planes. You can see when I click, you have all of these little lock icons, meaning that everything is locked in place. Now we want to create another set of reference planes that are going to represent the rough, width, and height. So I'm going to do that by going here to the Create tab, then going to Reference Plane, and then placing one horizontal reference plane like this, one vertical here, one vertical here. There we go. Okay, so now let's go to our dimensions. Align dimension, add a dimension here, add a dimension here, and then finally let's add one from here to there. Perfect. Hit the escape key a couple of times, and now what we're going to do is select all of these. So just hold the control key and select all three. Next, we're going to go here to a label, and because we don't really have any label for this, I'm going to create a new parameter, and I'm just going to be calling this one the offset parameter. We can make it a type parameter, click OK, and now as you can see, it kind of found the middle one, which was 71. So let's go here in the family types, and then I'm just going to change the offset to something like 30 millimeters. Hit apply. Okay, and there we go. So that's our offset. So now we want to change the opening to that because we want the rough width to be there in the offset. So the inner width will be the width inside of the frame, and then the rough width and height will be without the frame. So what you want to do is go here at the bottom. You see this line? That line symbolizes the opening cut. So you can select that and go into Edit Sketch, and now you can just move this up. Now obviously it's going to say that this was constrained, so you have to remove that constraint, and then you have to, well, let's say reconstrain it to the upper reference plane here. You want to do the same thing here, remove constraint, constrain, and the same thing here, remove constraint, and then lock that in place. On the bottom it stays on the bottom, so I'm happy with that. We hit finish, and there we go. Also, you have the ability to make it either transparent in 3D or not. I'm just going to leave that checked on, and there we go. Now here in the type properties, you can go for this offset, and you can have that parameter locked so it doesn't accidentally move, which is always a good idea. Now I'm just going to OK out of that, so as you can see this has changed, and now we can proceed with creating our frame. So for the frame, I'm going to go to the 3D view, and then the frame, I want to host that to the exterior of this. Now if I go to the level here, you can see that on the exterior here, if I select this, you can see that this is a reference plane and it says exterior, and it will always be kind of glued to the exterior face of this wall. So even if I select this wall and change it to something like 300 millimeters, that reference plane will stay there, which is really useful. So what you want to do now is, let's make it 200. So you want to host your frame on that. Now the frame is going to be modeled as a sweep. So let's go to the 3D view here, go to create, go to forms, and then go to sweep. And for this sweep, I'm going to go to set work plane and set our work plane to that exterior reference plane. Click OK. And now I can just use pick lines and just go all the way around. Now for some reason I cannot see this. Well, that's because I'm just placing regular lines instead of going here to sketch path, pick lines. Now as you can see it works a lot better. Well, we can actually see them, and we have sketched the path. Now I'm just going to simply hit here finish edit mode, and then we can go into edit profile to model our profile. Now for drawing this, the best way would be to go here to the reference plane because we have a lot of locking in to do. So let's come in here and then let's get started. So I'm going to start with this profile by going all the way around the wall. And then something that you can notice is obviously that these lines are way too thick. So I like to change the scale from 1 to 20 to something like 1 to 10 or even 1 to 5, just making these a little bit more thin. Next I'm going to go out by about 20 millimeters and then come in by about 10, then go up to here, and then repeat the same thing on the other side. Now obviously you're not going to be able to hit the measurements exactly where you want them to be, so you can just go and kind of eyeball it, and then later on we can adjust everything. Okay, now it's time to lock everything in place. So you lock it in place just like we did before. You just move it out and then you come back in and then you can lock. Same thing goes here, lock, lock here, and then also these vertical ones we can lock to the same place. So there and then here as well. Perfect. And now for this one, again, we can lock it there. And now for the rest of these, we have to add additional dimensions. So first I have to just double check this. Yeah, so it's 10 millimeters. Okay, everything looks good. So what you want to do is just go to the align dimension, go from here to here to here, place it there, and then lock both of these icons. Same thing goes here. Find a reference plane and then go to here and to here, place it, and then lock both of those. Perfect. And finally, you might want to lock this, oops, this one as well. So let's lock that there, and then this one here, and that should do the trick. Okay, so with all of these locked now, if I hit finish and then finish again, oops, we don't want that for now, it's going to create a frame that goes all the way around, as you can see here. Perhaps if I go to 1 to 20, see, we have that frame. Now what's really good about that frame is the fact that now if I go to the exterior view, see now that in the interior side of that view is represented by the height here, or here horizontally the width parameters. So now we have the kind of the exact parameters for that, and then we're going to be adding those rough width and rough height a bit later on. Now also why we had to lock everything in place is, well, first we might want to change the width and height, but then also something that people tend to forget is the width of the actual wall. So you might want to change the thickness of the wall. The door might be applied on a thin wall or on a thick wall. So because we have locked everything in place, we can kind of test this out. Let's try 150. See, everything stays in place. Let's try 300. Again, everything stays in place. So we obviously did a good job locking everything in place, and everything flexes correctly. If you don't know, flexing is kind of testing out will the family stay intact when you change the dimensions. Now finally, before we do anything else, I want to add the door panel. So for that, let's go again to the exterior, go to create, and then let's go to the extrusion. I want to use just a simple rectangle here, go from one corner to the other, like so, lock it in place on all sides, and you're pretty much done. So it's quite simple. The only thing you want to set up is the extrusion end. Here it's set to 250. You want to change that to something like 40 millimeters. I think that's more than enough. Even 30 will probably do the trick. Yeah, I think 40 is enough. And then you hit finish. And obviously make sure to go, oops. Yeah, make sure to go to the 3D view and just to double check what that looks like. See, here we have that frame. Everything looks nice. That's exactly what we want. Okay, this might be a good time to test our family out. So let's go just take a look at the family like this. You want to go here to the family types, open that up, and then if I change the height to 220 and the width to something like 800, and then I hit apply, we want to see that does anything break apart, but it doesn't seem so. So I'm quite happy with the way that this is working out. Obviously, if you're kind of doing this for yourself, test it out a little bit further, try some different dimensions, kind of push it just to see if everything is correct. Next, as I said, we want to add the rough width and the rough height. Now, this isn't really something that you're going to be using to assign the width and height of the door, but it is information that you want to use for the builders and for just for everything else inside of the project. You might want to document that, and that's what I'm going to be explaining how to get that dimension. So here we have this formula area for all of our parameters, so I can say that our rough width is equal regular width minus offset, or minus 2 times the offset, because we have it kind of on both sides. Now for these, whenever you type existing parameters, make sure that that you get the caps right. So it's capital O and capital W for these. You have to get that right, unless it's not going to work. So you just want to kind of lock that in place there. And then for the rough height, it's just regular height minus 1 offset. There we go. So it is going to report that. Or sorry, it wasn't minus, it's actually plus. Yeah, I made a mistake. Yeah. Yeah, and this is going to give you the accurate dimension of the opening that needs to be left in the wall. So this is something that's really important. And as you can see, we get that, and then we can record that in our schedules later on in the project. Okay, so with that done, one additional thing that you might want to add is some sort of a door handle. Usually you have a door handle, so let's place one here as well. So for the door handle, you can actually load in an existing family. So if I go here to Insert, and then go to Load Family. Here, if I just go back a few steps, in your family library, you have doors, and then you have hardware. So if you open that up, as you can see, you have these door handles. So I'm just kind of scrolling through them, and I just want to use the regular kind of handle lever, and then let's open that up. Go to Create, go to Component, and then you can place that wherever you want. So for example here, I'm just going to place it like this on the ground because I don't really know which side this door is oriented at. Next I can go here to Exterior. See? So the door handle goes here. You can see that from these lines. Basically when you see these lines in architecture drawings, it basically says that the hinge is here and the door handle is here, basically. So what you want to do is select this door handle, and let's flip it to the other side simply by using the mirror tool, back access, and then just uncheck copy. And then we can flip it like that. Next, you want to go to the reference level. You want to zoom in a little bit, go to the Modify tab or panel, and then go to the Align tool. And you want to select that reference plane that we have below. See that reference plane that's highlighted now? Now, if you're not sure if you have the reference plane, take a look here in this section of Revit when you hover over that. Now it says Shape Handle. Now if I hit the Tab key, it says Reference Plane, so you want that one, and then you lock it like that, and you can lock it in place. Okay, now you want to go to the Exterior View, and we want to add some reference planes here to mark out the position of the door handle. So you do that by going to Create, reference plane, and then you add one horizontally like that, and then one vertically like so. So what I like to do is just add a couple of dimensions, just fixed dimensions going from here to here like that, and then one going from the ground to here. Okay, so let's make this one 1000, and then let's make this one 100. And then we can lock everything in place. So go to Align, AL is the shortcut, go from here to here, lock it in place, and from here to here, lock it in place. Perfect. Next, let's go down to reference level, select this, go to the mirror tool, we can use Draw Axis, and then you want to find the midpoint of this door. Draw a horizontal line, and that's going to mirror it to the other side, which is really cool. See, now we have the same thing on the other side. Now, obviously, you want to lock that in place, so let's try something. Okay, yeah, this is definitely not going to work in 3D. So we can just go here to Interior View, and then we can try that there. So again, Align tool, like that, lock it in place, lock it in place, and also here, oops, not that. So try to use the Align tool to lock that like this. Okay, so now it's completely locked in place. Both of them are. And again, you want to test this out. So you test everything out by going and flexing the family again. So if I change the width to, I don't know, 900 and the height to 210, hit apply. As you can see, this will follow its position on both sides. And there we go. We have our door, we have the door handle, we have the door panel, we have the door frame. Pretty much our family is completed. One thing that you might want to do is select both the frame and the door and go and assign a material, or you can go and create a parameter for that by clicking here, and then you can assign a new material or a new parameter that will control the material of the door. I'm just going to select both of these, go to material, and then let's just search for some wood material. Here we have birch, let's load that in, hit apply, okay, and now if I switch to realistic, well, it looks nice. So there you go. That's how you create a door in Revit. Make sure obviously to save the family, and that's it. Job is done. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Obviously this is kind of a little quicker tutorial in the interest of time. I don't want to have this video be like an hour long. If you want slower step-by-step tutorials on families, I have an entire course on the family editor in Revit. As I said, it's on my website, balkanarchitect.com. That's going to be the first link just below the video, so make sure to check that out. Also, if you want my Revit project files, you can find those on my Patreon page. That's the second link in the description. Okay, so that concludes this video. Make sure to like and share the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for useful tutorials, and I'll be back with another Revit tutorial in a couple of days. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.